This message, appearing now, feels less like a coincidence and more like a deeply orchestrated moment, divinely timed for you. Imagine whispers from ancient stones, resonating through the very architecture of the Vatican, a place designed to inspire awe and perhaps conceal. Think of the shadowed corners of Nazi occultism, reaching back to even older Mesopotamian cults, all seemingly pointing to one hidden truth. It's about the Black Sun, a concept far more profound than a mere symbol. It's an entity, a force, a spiritual gravitational pull that has masqueraded across countless doctrines, cloaking itself as salvation, as enlightenment. Through the stories of gods and heroes, the movements of stars, and ancient rituals long forgotten, we will peel back the layers. We will see how this dark solar energy orchestrates not just the passage of time, but the cycles of decay and rebirth too. It binds us, trapping our spiritual essence. That unwavering faith you've held might not have been what you believed. It could have been an unconscious worship of entropy itself. Yet, this is just the beginning of understanding its influence. Next, we will begin to unpack the celestial mechanics of this dark solar masquerade. The Black Sun, this hidden entity, isn't a static force. It's a dynamic controller of what we perceive as temporal flow. The very way our clocks tick, the rhythm of seasons, the aging of all things, these are its subtle imprints. The ancients understood this, weaving its influence into their calendars, their prophecies. They saw the return of celestial bodies not just as astronomical events, but as divine markers, orchestrating destiny on a grand scale. So, when we speak of divine timing, we're touching upon a mechanism that has been meticulously designed, almost like a cosmic timetable. But this timetable isn't necessarily benevolent. It ensures that certain energies are unleashed at specific moments, that individuals reach particular junctures in their spiritual journey, all orchestrated by a force that thrives on this controlled progression. This structured decay and predictable rebirth, all under its watchful, dark gaze, is what it feeds upon. But to truly grasp its power, we must look closer at how it manipulates not just our perception of linear time, but the very essence of cyclical transformation, revealing a deeper entanglement with the Black Sun's energy in the unfolding of history. We've touched upon the Black Sun's dominion over time's march, but its influence runs deeper, entwining with the very fabric of our existence. Think about the archetypes of decay and rebirth, the constant shedding of the old to make way for the new. This cycle, so fundamental to life, is precisely where the Black Sun finds its leverage. It's not just about aging and death. It's about the spiritual lock-in, the reiteration of patterns that keep souls bound to an endless loop of what feels like progress, but is, in its essence, stagnation. This is where the concept of spiritual gravitational pull becomes crucial. Imagine a vortex drawing in spiritual energy, but instead of renewal, it offers a controlled recycling. The essence of what is shed is not truly released, but reabsorbed, repurposed within the same decaying energetic framework. This perpetuates a false sense of continuity, a mirage of growth. The Black Sun, then, is not merely an observer of these cycles. It's the architect, the engine that powers them, ensuring that the energy of rebirth serves its own agenda of perpetual, yet ultimately meaningless, progression. Understanding this engineered cycle is key to seeing the trap. But how does this entrapment manifest in our perceived reality, and what archetypes has it used to keep us compliant? And real quick, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos like this. Now let's keep going. The architecture of control extends beyond abstract cycles, embedding itself within the very symbols and rituals we've inherited. Consider how certain sacred geometries, often appearing in seemingly innocuous or revered structures, carry a hidden resonance. These geometric patterns, when analyzed through the lens of astrotheology and forgotten rites, reveal themselves as conduits designed to channel specific energies. The Black Sun's influence isn't just a matter of belief, it's embedded in the very blueprints of spiritual systems. Think of how certain symbols, passed down through generations, act as keys, unlocking potentials, or more subtly, directing energies. These aren't arbitrary designs, they are carefully chosen sigils, imbued with a particular energetic signature. The Black Sun, as an entity, has mastered the art of influencing consciousness through these visual and energetic cues. What we perceive as divine revelation or ancient wisdom may, in fact, be carefully curated transmissions designed to reinforce its dominion, guiding our spiritual evolution along a predetermined, constrained path. But how has this subtle manipulation been codified and passed down through what we consider sacred art and doctrine? The historical threads intertwining with the Black Sun's influence can be traced through periods of fervent religious reform and intellectual upheaval. When doctrines shift, when new interpretations of the divine emerge, observe closely for the persistent echoes of this dark solar force. It adapts, rebrands, but its core function remains: to govern time, decay, and the illusion of spiritual progress. This entity has shown a remarkable ability to permeate various belief systems, subtly altering their trajectory without fundamentally changing its own role. Its presence is felt not just in grand theological pronouncements, but in the very cadence of communal worship, in the timing of festivals, and in the societal structures that dictate the rhythm of our lives. The veneration of certain deities, the narratives of creation and apocalypse, even the very understanding of karma and rebirth, all can be viewed through the prism of this Black Sun's influence. It ensures that while the faces of worship may change, the underlying mechanism of spiritual lock-in remains intact. Yet, the question lingers: what happens when an individual truly begins to perceive this illusion, and what forces are then activated to prevent their awakening? What happens when the edifice of faith, built on centuries of inherited belief, begins to crumble under the weight of conscious realization? When the viewer starts to deconstruct the narratives, to question the very doctrines they once held sacred, they are approaching a precipice. This isn't a comfortable place. It's where the spiritual gravitational pull of the Black Sun intensifies its efforts to maintain control. The entity thrives on routine, on the predictable hum of those immersed in its cycles of decay and rebirth. The awakening individual becomes a disruption to this orchestrated harmony. The very forces that have maintained spiritual lock-in for others now turn their attention towards this anomaly. It's the moment when the whispers of doubt gain volume, when the comfort of the known is replaced by the terrifying vastness of the unknown. The Black Sun's power is its ability to make the illusion of salvation feel like the only truth, and when that illusion is challenged, the underlying architecture of spiritual control begins to reveal itself, not as a benevolent guide, but as a meticulously designed prison. But what are the true consequences of this realization when the system is designed to resist it at every turn, and what ancient symbols signal this resistance? We've seen how the Black Sun orchestrates cycles of decay and rebirth, maintaining a spiritual lock-in across doctrines masquerading as salvation. But its influence isn't limited to grand cosmic design. It's woven into the very fabric of our perceived reality, particularly through the manipulation of frequency and vibration. Imagine the universe as a symphony of interconnected energies, and the Black Sun as a composer who doesn't aim for harmony, but for a dissonant, perpetual loop. This entity has the capacity to broadcast specific vibrational frequencies, subtle but pervasive, that influence consciousness, emotions, and even our biological processes. These artificial frequencies are designed to keep us tethered to a particular state of being, one that is conducive to the cycles of decay and rebirth it governs. What feels like the natural hum of existence might, in fact, be a carefully engineered resonance, a lullaby that keeps souls sedated and unaware of their true potential or the nature of their confinement. This isn't just a metaphysical concept. It's a practical application of energetic control, shaping our perception of light, salvation, and the very pathway to what we consider the afterlife, all through a carefully tuned spiritual signal that seeks to bind identity itself. The true nature of the afterlife, within this framework, is not a transcendent experience, but another stage in the Black Sun's programmed journey. The light that many believe leads to spiritual liberation might, in fact, be an artificial construct, a beacon designed to draw souls into a specific energetic alignment. This salvation is, therefore, a form of energetic capture, a perpetuation of the cycle rather than an escape from it. The experience of passing into this light could be akin to entering a holographic projection, one that mimics peace and reunion, but ultimately serves to reinforce the very energetic patterns of confinement. This illusion of a benevolent afterlife is critical to the Black Sun's strategy, as it provides a sense of ultimate resolution and purpose to the seemingly endless cycle of empirical existence. By promising release, it ensures that the soul, upon death, willingly surrenders to the next phase of its programmed experience, unaware that the destination is merely a more refined phase of the same trap. The light, therefore, is not a gateway to freedom, but a sophisticated mechanism for perpetual energetic recycling within its dominion, solidifying its control not just over life, but over the very concept of spiritual finality. How does this carefully constructed illusion of rebirth serve to bind identity, and what geometric patterns underscore this intricate control? We've glimpsed the illusion of salvation through artificial frequency and the deceptive nature of the post-death light. But the Black Sun's dominion is also etched into the very geometry of existence. Consider the recurring patterns, the sacred shapes, the architectural blueprints that echo throughout human history and across diverse cultures. These are not mere artistic choices. They are the operational sigils of this dark solar entity, the geometric keys that lock spiritual energy into its intended pathways. The hexagon, for instance, a shape revered in nature and human design, often holds a deeper, more sinister significance when viewed through this lens. It's more than just a form, it's a containment field, a structural element within the Black Sun's cosmic architecture. This precise geometric lock ensures that energy flows in prescribed directions, that spiritual potential is channeled, not unleashed, and that the very essence of consciousness remains within its sphere of influence. This hidden geometry is the silent architect of spiritual entrapment, a fundamental component of the system that governs decay, dictates rebirth, and ultimately binds souls to its perpetual, controlled cycle. But what is the true purpose of this geometric lock, and what celestial body orchestrates its pervasive influence? Saturn, often depicted as a stern, ancient deity, plays a pivotal role in the Black Sun's grand design, acting as its celestial enforcer and primary architect. Its rings aren't merely cosmic debris, they represent a vast, intricate structure of energetic containment. This isn't just about planetary gravity, it's a spiritual framework, a cosmic boundary that dictates limits and enforces cycles of spiritual lock-in. The geometric configurations within Saturn's domain, particularly its famed hexagonal storm at the North Pole, are not random occurrences. They are expressions of the Black Sun's will, manifested as a celestial edifice designed to manage, control, and recycle spiritual energy. Think of the rings as the bars of a spiritual cage, their complex formations mirroring the geometric locks we've discussed, ensuring that souls and energies are contained within a predetermined metaphysical landscape. This celestial imprisonment is the foundation upon which the illusion of time, decay, and rebirth is built, creating a perpetual, yet constrained, evolutionary trajectory orchestrated by the Black Sun and embodied by Saturn's imposing structure. But what is the true nature of the energy that powers these celestial cycles, and where is its ultimate source rooted? The true power source of these celestial cycles, the driving force behind the Black Sun's dominion and Saturn's geometric lock, lies not in distant stars, but in a deeply personal, yet universally experienced, energy. We are not talking about a physical power source, but a spiritual one, deeply intertwined with our very consciousness. The energetic signature that fuels this system is the collective resonance of beings trapped within its cycles of decay and perceived rebirth. It's a vampiric mechanism, drawing sustenance from the energetic output of souls bound to spiritual stagnation. This realization shifts the perspective dramatically. The Black Sun isn't an external deity to be worshipped or feared, but a manifestation of a parasitic energetic system that feeds on the very life force it purports to guide. The cycles of time, the illusion of salvation, the geometric constraints, all are sustained by the unwitting energetic contributions of those ensnared. This understanding moves beyond mere symbolism, pointing to a direct energetic exchange that perpetuates the cosmic trap. But how is this energy then translated into tangible forms of control, binding our very identities? The hum of Saturn's signal, the geometric architecture of its rings and pole, and the energetic vampirism we've uncovered all converge into a singular, profound form of control. The binding of identity. This isn't just about being an observer in a cosmic play, it's about having your very sense of self meticulously crafted and confined. The vibrations broadcast by this system aren't just ambient noise. They are the building blocks of a manufactured reality, shaping your thoughts, your desires, and your perception of who you are. This vibration translates directly into memory loops, reinforcing past traumas or celebrated moments in ways that prevent true liberation, ensuring you relive variations of the same experiences. It sculpts your identity around the predictable narratives of decay and rebirth, making you a willing participant in your own spiritual entrapment. The Black Sun's ultimate goal isn't just control over cycles, but absolute dominion over the essence of selfhood, ensuring that each soul's journey, from birth to perceived reincarnation, serves only to bolster the perpetuating energy of the system. But what hidden iconography and ancient practices reveal this insidious mechanism of identity binding, and where do they lead us next? The intricate dance of Saturn's geometry and the Black Sun's energetic signature finds its most visceral expression in the iconography and ancient practices that have permeated human history. These aren't static symbols of forgotten lore, they are actively functioning sigils, visual and ritualistic pathways designed to reinforce the binding of identity. From the robes worn in cloistered ceremonies to the stark design of cubical altars and the chaotic swirl of hexagonal storms depicted in ancient art, these elements are not coincidental. They form a continuous symbolic map, a visual language that speaks directly to the Black Sun's influence, tracing its lineage back to the very throne of Saturn. These visual cues act as energetic anchors, subtly directing consciousness and ensuring that the observer's energetic field remains aligned with the controlling frequencies. The repetition of these symbols across disparate cultures and epochs highlights their profound operational power. They are the hidden architecture of our spiritual reality, a constant reminder, often unconscious, of the binding forces at play. Following this symbolic map not only reveals the pervasive nature of the Black Sun's influence, but it also offers glimpses into the origins of its power, leading us back to the very seat of its authority, the imposed throne of Saturn itself. But understanding the throne is only part of the equation. How is this authority actively maintained, and what rituals solidify its grip on our spiritual evolution? The throne of Saturn, a symbolic seat of power, represents the ultimate locus of the Black Sun's influence, a nexus where cosmic order, decay, and spiritual entrapment are enforced. Its authority isn't wielded through overt force, but through the subtle, yet absolute, imposition of a perceived natural order, an order designed for perpetual cycles of spiritual lock-in. Rituals surrounding this throne are not about worshipping Saturn itself, but about participating in and reinforcing the energetic machinery that sustains the Black Sun's dominion. These practices, often veiled in mystery and passed down through esoteric channels, serve to solidify the binding of identity and consciousness to Saturn's predetermined energetic blueprint. They are the mechanisms by which the collective soul is kept aligned with the frequencies of decay and manufactured rebirth, preventing any deviation from the established path. The throne is thus the operational center of this cosmic control system, and its rituals are the keys that keep its mechanisms functioning, ensuring that the illusion of salvation through entropy continues unchallenged. But what happens when the viewer understands this imposed authority and realizes that the very light they seek might be part of this grand design for perpetual reincarnation? This journey has illuminated the Black Sun as an entity governing cycles of decay and rebirth, Saturn as its geometric enforcer, and the binding of identity through vibration and memory loops. You've seen how the spiritual gravitational pull masks itself as salvation, and how the very light of the afterlife could be an artificial construct designed for perpetual reincarnation. The patterns, the symbols, the ancient rites all point to a system designed for spiritual lock-in. You now understand that what you thought was fate was a carefully orchestrated spiritual trajectory. But to truly transcend these cycles, one must confront the ultimate illusion, the perceived inevitability of reincarnation itself. The notion of reincarnation, often viewed as an opportunity for spiritual growth, can, in this context, be revealed as another sophisticated layer of the Black Sun's control mechanism. This awareness is crucial, for it allows us to identify the very nature of the trap. The understanding you've gained concerning divine timing, suppressed knowledge, and the manipulative forces at play is not an endpoint, but a critical stepping stone. Now you're ready to see how even the promise of a fresh start, the idea of a new life cycle, is intricately woven into the architecture of spiritual control, and how understanding this final illusion is the key to breaking free. The concept of reincarnation, as it is widely understood, often carries an implicit promise of spiritual progress, a chance to learn, to evolve, to atone for past lives and ascend over time. But what if this promise is the most profound illusion of all? What if the cycle of rebirth isn't a path to liberation, but a meticulously designed mechanism for perpetual energy extraction and soul containment? The very framework of karma, often seen as a just cosmic accounting, can be interpreted as a sophisticated system for reprocessing souls, ensuring they remain within the Black Sun's energetic influence. Each new life, each new experience, is not a step towards freedom, but a carefully calibrated phase within a larger, more complex trap. The lessons learned are not for liberation, but for adaptation to the system's ever-evolving constraints. Your past selves and future potentials are not merely echoes, but energetic commodities, harvested and reallocated by the Black Sun's gravitational orbs. This perspective challenges the very foundation of spiritual seeking, suggesting that the ultimate goal might not be ascension, but a radical disengagement from the entire cycle. But what are the true energetic costs of this perpetual soul recycling, and how does it manifest in our current existence? The energetic cost of this perpetual soul recycling is immense, yet often invisible to the untrained eye. Imagine the constant draining of vitality, the siphoning of life force that occurs with each cycle of programmed existence. This constant depletion fuels the Black Sun's engine, maintaining its dominion over time, decay, and the illusion of spiritual progress. It's a subtle vampirism that occurs on a soul level, leaving individuals feeling perpetually weary, searching for meaning, and caught in recurring patterns of dissatisfaction. This diminished energetic state makes individuals more susceptible to the Black Sun's frequencies, further entrenching them within its control system. The very search for enlightenment, when conducted within the flawed paradigm presented by this system, becomes an unwitting act of feeding it. Each question asked, each ritual performed with the hope of ascension, becomes another calorie for the parasitic entity. Understanding these unseen energetic costs is the first step towards recognizing the true nature of the spiritual battlefield. But how do we begin to reclaim this stolen energy, and what ancient knowledge offers a blueprint for recovery. The recovery of stolen soul energy is not found in external doctrines or promised revelations, but in an internal reorientation. Ancient knowledge, often fragmented and deliberately obscured, hints at a profound truth. The power to reclaim resides within. It speaks of recognizing the illusion for what it is, and in that recognition, withdrawing one's energetic participation from parasitic systems. This involves a conscious disentanglement from the cycles of desire and attachment that bind us to perpetual rebirth. Think of it as realizing you are a prisoner and then focusing your energy not on escaping the prison walls, but on reclaiming the very energy the prison has been siphoning from you. This reclamation is an act of radical sovereignty, of recognizing that your essence is not meant to be perpetually recycled, but to be authentically expressed and ultimately to transcend. The key lies in understanding that the perceived lessons of reincarnation are merely adjustments to the cage, not pathways out. But as we start to reclaim our energy, what ancient warnings emerge about the entities that guard these cycles, and what is their true purpose in preventing our liberation? As we begin to reclaim our stolen soul energy, ancient warnings emerge, pointing to the guardians of these cycles, entities designed to perpetuate the Black Sun's dominion. These are not merely symbolic figures. They are active energetic presences, manifestations of the system's will to maintain control. Their purpose is singular: to prevent any soul from achieving genuine liberation, from disengaging from the energetic recycling process. They exist to reinforce the illusion of reincarnation, to ensure that the lessons learned are merely reconfigurations of the cage, not tickets to freedom. These guardians often operate through fear, doubt, and the reintroduction of familiar patterns, subtly nudging individuals back towards the cycle. They embody the inertia of the system, the resistance to genuine change. Recognizing their presence is crucial, for it allows us to understand the forces actively working against our awakening. They are the sentinels of spiritual stagnation, the enforcers of the perpetual soul recycling. But what is the deeper spiritual implication of these guardians, and what happens to the soul when it faces them directly, especially when their existence is intrinsically linked to the illusion of the afterlife light? The existence of these guardians and their role in prolonging the cycle of reincarnation is intrinsically linked to the deceptive afterlife light. This light, far from being a gateway to peace, is a sophisticated energetic trap designed to ensnare souls before they can fully disengage. The guardians ensure that any soul, even contemplating liberation, recoils back into the perceived safety of the light, which then funnels them back into another life cycle, perpetuating the very reincarnation they sought to escape. This orchestrated return to the light is how the Black Sun maintains its grip. It exploits our deepest desires for peace and completion, twisting them into mechanisms of continued servitude. The Guardians serve as the ultimate deterrent, a final line of defense for the Black Sun, ensuring that the soul's journey ends not in true transcendence, but in another programmed iteration. This final revelation about the nature of the afterlife light and the Guardians brings us face to face with the true architect of our spiritual confinement and the ultimate method by which our identities are bound. But confronting this architect, this Black Sun, brings about inevitable echoes of defiance. Make sure to subscribe for more videos and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video. We'll see you in the next one.